Squeeb, and welcome to my podcast. I am a friendly little guy that walks around the multiverse. I ate a time travel machine. It lives inside the liminal space of my body. I also try to sell screen plant juices. So if you want screen plant juice, you know where to find it. Now, my first guests are some of my friends. They are a paranormal interviewer, Arthur Q. Mansley, and his lovely assistant, Beth Oglesby. Hi, guys. Welcome to the program.
Welcome to the program. Am I doing it right?
It's his program.
Welcome to his program.
Hi, I'm Beth.
And I am Arthur Q. Mansley, paranormal interviewer extraordinaire.
Arthur, what's the Q stand for this time?
Quantum.
I mean, it makes sense with the liminal space inside of Squeeb. Hi, Squeeb.
I see you guys have been having a little bit of network problems. Your camera's not on. Is everything
I don't believe in cameras.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a problem with the network. It's a problem with Arthur.
The network is the problem, Beth.
It's not how...
What's the problem?
Cameras steal your soul, Squeeb.
They do?
Yes, haven't you seen anybody on the television? They're all soulless. Their souls have been sapped from them from that vile lens.
No, that's not how it works.
Oh, that's awful.
It's not how it works.
Prove me wrong, Beth.
Yeah,
challenge
prove
you.
wrong.
Okay. Cripes.
But thank you for having us on your show, Squeeb.
Of course. Should I be concerned that my camera's on?
Well, the question is, do you, as a Squeeb, possess a soul to begin with?
Well, sort of. There's only ever one of me in existence at a time, and whenever a Squeeb dies, they get sent to the field of Squeebs. So does this mean I don't go to the field of Squeebs?
I don't know.
That is quite the quandary.
Would the new Squeeb that's after you, would they possess the soul themselves? Like, would that be an issue then?
Well, we have a lot of souls inside of us. I mean, I eat people a lot, and they live inside my body. Well, I don't like eat them and kill them.
Oh, okay.
Live in that liminal space.
Oh, so you're stockpiling souls?
Yeah.
Well, you have nothing to fear then. You have souls in excess.
So it'll lose like a soul of one of the people inside of me.
Presumably, yes. That's my expert opinion.
Okay. I'm gonna take that to heart.
Do you have a heart? Never mind. We don't need to get into that.
Good question, Beth. Good question.
Now, Arthur, I brought you on here because I know that you do interviews with ghouls and ghosts, and my friend Ozbark once. Do you have any advice for me as a now podcast host?
I would say the most important thing in podcasting is marketing. Nobody will listen to your podcast if they don't know it exists.
That's fair.
Yes, so my advice is cassette tapes. Record all of your podcasts onto tape so that they are safe from interference. And then, much like the Sunday newspaper is delivered to the doorstep every Sunday, deliver your podcast to your subscribers every Sunday, personally, on tape.
So, have a mailing subscription cassette podcast service.
Yes, although they don't necessarily need to subscribe to receive a tape. You can choose who receives the knowledge granted from your delightful podcast.
Squeeb, I have I have another point of information that you should probably take into account. Yeah, Arthur is frequently talking about how he gets in trouble with the law a lot.
Yeah.
Not the Law, Johnny Law.
Who's Johnny Law?
Johnny Law is my arch rival.
That's true.
Okay.
So that is not typically supported by the law. Is just putting random cassettes into people's mailboxes. That's typically
Oh,
that's frowned upon.
why is it frowned upon?
My question exactly, Squeeb. It's quality content. They should be delighted to be receiving it on a regular basis.
I thought you could mail anything to anyone.
Well, the thing is that it's not legally going through the postal service.
Oh, so don't put
Really,
it in the mailbox?
the whole kerfuffle is the lack of a postage stamp.
I don't think that's the only problem.
Well, that's what Johnny Law told me.
So
The
what if I
postal-
throw it through people's windows?
That is an aggressive marketing strategy.
That's
It's
also
not
probably
aggressive. It gets away from the postal service.
This is true, Beth. Have we considered this?
that's also vandalism.
A
No,
small price to pay.
why is it vandalism? I'm not drawing anything.
Well, that's destruction of property.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's being replaced by something of greater value.
Yeah.
That's questionable. What other advice do you have right there?
Well, besides marketing, the second most important part of a podcast is quality content.
Okay. How do I know if it's quality?
Well, in my experience in the paranormal interviewing world, quality content comes from an interesting subject. Right? Nobody listened to my episode on the sea sponge. Even though I found it a delightfully mentally stimulating exercise, the general public apparently has a distaste for sea sponges that are not SpongeBob.
Yeah, we weren't able to secure that interview.
So did you get like Sponge Steve on?
Sponge Steve is a hard get. We did get Sponge Jebediah, though.
Oh, well, that's your problem.
It's too many
Even
syllables.
I don't want to talk to Sponge Jebediah.
In that is my point exactly. Quality content that is listenable and palatable to the general audience.
So, should I try to travel to other universes outside of Earth?
Is this within your capability?
Yeah.
How?
Well, you see, one of my former squeebs walked into a building and they found a machine and they ate it, inside my liminal space.
Mhm.
And at the press of a button, it can take me to any multiverse, at any planet, at any point in time.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a remarkable ability.
I just came back from a zombie apocalypse in Quebec.
Hmm.
That's not great.
Well, it's not in this universe, so it's okay.
Tell me, could you bring others with you on these journeys?
If I ate them, yeah.
Is that painful?
Do you want to ask them?
Is Yes?
Okay.
Oh, what? What the fuck am I? What the fuck? What is happening?
Hello, Squeeb food. I must ask you: Is the
Process of
condition
consumption.
of being within the Squeeb, is it painful?
Well, is that where I was this whole time? Because I thought I died. Because I was like, so I was just fighting a war, right, against the blue giant, like giants. Yeah, the blue giants. And next thing I know is this big giant like squishy thing like eats me, and then I was in a like I was floating in space and time. You know how like aggressively salty seawater lets you float?
Yeah.
I was like in that, and I couldn't like go down, but I couldn't go up but sometimes I could float around and stuff. My skin's really soft. Why is my skin so soft? But dude, what? Oh, my hair's like squishy now.
So it seems like the Squeeb contains exfoliating properties and is not painful. Beth, I think we should inquire into having Squeeb take us on a fantastical journey.
But it also sounds like it's up to the will of the Squeeb to either let you go or consume you.
I'll tell you that. I was eating like in 19 and that was
19.
yeah,
Good
I was
year.
eating in 19.
Wow.
When the blue giants roamed free.
And also probably Romans and in Aristotle. I don't know.
What's a Roman?
The blue giants were Roman.
No, they were Episcopalian.
Ah, my mistake.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. What planet am I on?
That is not important. Squeeb, you can take this one back.
Okay. No.
It sounded violent.
Gone.
He is gone. What an interesting fellow.
Yeah, that's Randy. He's weird.
Hmm.
He survives through 32 squeebs.
Oh.
So when a Squeeb dies, the beings within that Squeeb are passed on to the next Squeeb.
Yeah.
How many beings reside within you at this moment?
Carry the 4. Multiply by 36. Subtract by 36. About 2,532,432.
And you're able to tell that just by innate knowledge?
The voices.
Oh.
I can hear them all talking.
Oh. So they're conscious still. That's terrifying.
Yeah. Well, they live in that liminal space, so.
So Squeeb possesses the knowledge of 2 point something million consciousnesses. It is.
Do you absorb their knowledge?
No. They just kind of scream, and sometimes I listen, and sometimes I don't.
So you were talking about your audience. Are you planning on broadcasting mainly to this plane of existence?
Try and put it out everywhere that I can. So here on Earth, you have YouTube. YouTube's pretty fun. I like YouTube. It teaches me everything I know. But in other worlds, like there's a planet that is covered in goop, and they have GooTube. And GooTube's okay, so I'll kind of put it on there, but I'm not gonna get a big audience there. And then there's a planet of fire and ash, and they have a place called it's spelled how it sounds.
Mm.
And they're really popular. Everybody goes to that channel.
Yeah, I think. I mean, according to the previous question of trying to get interviewees or to have quality content from different planes, I think if you're broadcasting across a lot of different planes, then get a lot of different interviewees. That's interesting for everybody.
Okay, so I should try to travel the multiverse and go everywhere that I can. Should I interview people that I only know, or should I meet new ones?
Oh, anybody who you perceive as being interesting on the exterior or interior is a potential interview. You do have to be careful of the legality of some of the interviews and some of the statements you make, or else interdimensional Johnny Law may get on your case.
Some statements that have gotten you in trouble, Arthur.
Oh boy, let's not. Nope, we're gonna move on.
Well, there was this
No, we haven't gotten in trouble with interdimensional Johnny Law yet.
Yet.
So let's try to stay away from that.
Yet, Beth, yet.
Fine. Fine.
Do you want to tell? You also have to be careful of the frequency of lizard men that show up.
Oh my goodness, the lizard men. It seems like every third person I interview ends up being a lizard man in disguise. The reptilian people pulling the strings behind all the machinations of politics and media and government and your family. Your family is, well, you being a Squeeb, you know your lineage pretty well. But
Yeah.
my family, I swear, they're 80% lizard men at this point.
So it's anyone with power?
Not necessarily.
Anyone, period, could be a lizard man.
Could be.
Squeeb.
So how do you tell the difference?
At this point, Arthur has a pretty good rapport with them that after a couple of questions, they reveal themselves and laugh at him.
They bully me relentlessly, baiting me into thinking I've finally nailed the big career-making interview. And it just turned out to be a lizard man wearing a rubber mask.
Yeah, I get that. One time someone broke into a porta potty that I lived in for about 7 years, and he was wearing a mask, and I told him to get lost, Buster, and he asked me for candy, so I ate him.
A reasonable response.
Was that when you were in Ohio?
Yeah, that's when I lived in Columbus, Ohio.
Where are you located now, Squeeb?
Well, right now, I just came back from vacation from the swamp of the Sahara Desert in Earth 74.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, swamps are different there. They're all dried up.
How did that work with you being a gelatinous being?
Well, I have plenty of my Scream juices. So I was fine. That's all I need to survive.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you cultivate the screen plants, or do you forage for them?
Well, a little bit of both. It depends on the planet that I'm on. I have some connections that sell some more scream plants, and they will farm them for me and like process the juices. Sometimes I have to forage around for them though. One of my good friends, Mr. Bunkle, has a bunker where he has a whole layer of just scream plants.
Wait a minute, you know Mr. Bunkle?
Yeah.
I've been trying to interview him for years. He is an extraordinary botanist.
Yeah, I lived with him for about a week one time, and I had all the scream juices that I could ever have. I actually almost killed one of his employees. Well, it wasn't an employee. He was taking shelter in the bunker, and I ate him, and everyone thought I murdered him.
Well, that's a rude assumption to make. Just because you consume someone doesn't automatically mean that they perish.
Well, they just disappeared, and then I spit out their bones in the storage unit, and everybody was like, "What are these bones here?"
Well, everybody has a few extra.
Yeah, I just wanted to give him a little scare. He's a bad person. He still lives inside of me.
Minus some bones.
Well, no, he still has all of his bones. His last name is actually Bones.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
convenient.
Alex Bones. He's a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've always gotten along well with conspiracy theorists.
Do you want to meet Alex Bones?
Is that an option? Can you retrieve him from the 2-point-something million souls within you, or specifically select Alex Bones and present him to us?
Yeah. I've been well trained on pulling out random things from my body, so I know how to target the specific one that I want.
Perhaps you should consider a career in magicianry.
Why? It's not magic. It's science.
Oh.
It would still shock a lot of people frequently.
That's surprising to most people.
On this realm, yes.
Yeah, not to paranormal interviewers like Arthur though.
I've seen many a thing in my time.
Yeah, well, I'll introduce you to.
No, you see, the government is lying to us.
Yes, that's what I've been saying all along. Beth, listen to this man. He knows what's up.
Yes, I know what's up, I know what's down, I know what's east and what's west, okay? And let me tell you something. The problem with our country is the pigeons are lizards.
The pigeons are lizards now, too. My
Yep,
goodness.
they're lizards, and let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right now here, folks. They are trying to shoot all of us.
The reptilian claws are sinking ever deeper into our society.
Oh,
See,
boy.
this guy gets it. This guy gets it. I like this.
Oh, I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. Mr. Bones, you are one remarkably intelligent individual.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you know, the problem is when we look at the faith of Judaism.
Sorry,
Whoa.
you have to go off on the Jews a lot.
Hmm.
Which
Such
is
is
weird.
the downfall of many a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand it because in his world they don't exist.
That makes it even more perplexing.
Perhaps he
Yeah.
possesses some sight beyond sight.
Yeah. He claims to hear them in the basement a lot. Is this one of those problematic things I shouldn't say on air?
You might want to tread lightly.
It is my belief that on your own podcast you are free to say whatever it is you wish. If anybody tries to stop you,
Like
then
me.
they're in cahoots
Okay.
with Johnny Law.
To meet this Johnny Law fella. He seems nice.
He's not.
Do you have maybe a question for Arthur about podcasting in general?
Yeah. I have one last question. It's actually for you, Beth.
Oh,
You're an assistant.
yes.
And should I get one of those? Should I split into two and be my own assistant? Is it necessary for a podcast to function?
If you were to split into two, would it be the same consciousness or would you have separate control over each Squeeb?
It would be the same consciousness, but I would also have separate control over both of my body. It's like if you had 4 arms, you would know which one to lift.
Okay. I mean that could be useful because then the communication would be instant if you would split into two. Personally, I think Arthur has benefited a lot from having an assistant. Especially with the cassette debacle of the 90s. That was probably
I wouldn't call it a debacle.
um
Call it a fracas.
what?
A fracas.
What the heck is that?
It's like a debacle, but cooler sounding.
Okay.
I met a guy named Fracas.
There
the
you go.
Fracas?
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Fracas the Great?
Okay.
Well, it was his son.
Oh, Fracas the Lesser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about Fracas the Lesser.
Fracas the Lesser Jr.
Oh, even
Oh,
worse.
even worse.
Yeah.
Arthur, how have you enjoyed having an assistant?
I would say, dear Squeeb, if you were to get an assistant, yes, they do provide many benefits, but you have to ensure that they read the contract thoroughly and read any materials you provide them thoroughly.
If you provide materials, make sure that they get it.
Beth shirks this duty constantly. I write these handbooks for her about specific things that a paranormal interviewer must know, and she just neglects to read them entirely, and it's insulting.
We're not sure where they went. I think he mailed them to Canada by accident.
I wrote Beth Oglesby on the envelope.
But you could have just handed it to me with your, I was right there.
Well, I apologize for trying to use the post-loose system, Beth. You see now why I distrust it.
Maybe your assistant could help you understand the postal system properly. That's a benefit. That's a benefit.
Try giving these briefs on cassette tapes.
I believe cassette is the most sound medium there is. There is very little you can do to damage a cassette tape versus damaging, say, the internet as a whole. The internet is a fragile thing, and a cassette tape is you can hold it in your hands. That gives it some weight, some meaning, some importance.
So
Okay.
you can hold sound.
Yes, isn't that mystical and magical? Versus the internet, which they say it exists in the air all around, but I've never seen it.
Well, we're on the internet.
So they say.
As a cryptid interviewer, you have the strangest beliefs because people would say that about cryptids.
Yes, but then I can hunt them down, and then I can place my hands upon them.
Please don't.
I've tried hunting down the internet, Beth. It doesn't work how you would expect it to.
Please don't beat up cryptids.
Verizon does not appreciate you knocking on the door asking to come touch up the internet.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, stupid Verizon.
Stupid Verizon. Call him Johnny Law.
Well, on that note, thank you all for listening to Squeeb Stories. Thank you, Arthur and Beth, for coming on and giving me the advice that I really need to get started.
Well, thank you for inviting us. It is rare that I have the opportunity to be the interviewee instead of the interviewer.
Good luck, Squeeb. We really are here to support your podcast.
Thank you. I really appreciate your guys and your friendship, and you're my biggest heroes.
Really?
Yeah,
You really mean that?
yeah, I listen to everything you say, Arthur.
Oh, my goodness, I've never heard that in person before.
Well, I'm not a person, so you technically still haven't.
Oh, Beth, I'm leaking from the eyes. What is this? Beth, call a doctor.
Squeeb, this is probably where we need to leave. We gotta take care of some stuff.